Well, hello, everybody. Welcome to Tech Tip Tuesday. This is January 30th, already the end of the first month of the year. Man, time flies when you're having fun, right? Well, welcome. My name's Ken Close. I am a Healy World member, just like most of you guys, engineer, pioneer from the beginning of the Healy World USA, and happy to be here. I am joined by my amazing co-host, Uh-oh, Jake, are you frozen? Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Yeah, sorry, it did something froze there for a second. But yes, I am here. Good evening, everyone.
Here he is. Awesome. Thanks for being here. And we have an amazing representative from our customer service department, Anthony, here in the chat. Everybody say hello to Anthony and
Yeah.
welcome. Super
Thank
glad
you,
you're
Anthony.
here. Yeah, glad you're here. Thank you very much. So you guys that are pioneers to the Tech Tip Tuesday, you guys all know how this works. But for you guys that are new, I'm super grateful you're here. Want to welcome y'all. But let me tell you how it works. This is a chat-based forum, pretty open forum to whatever goes in the chat. So you put your questions, your highlights, your concerns into the chat, and myself, Jake, and Anthony, we will unpack those here on the call and answer those, solve those mysteries, all that kind of stuff. What we can't do is that we can't treat, diagnose, prevent, or even recommend anything around medical conditions or things like that. So, but we do have great resources for that we can help you out and guide you in the right directions for those as well. So if that makes sense to you all, go ahead and light up that chat and let's get this party started. How about that?
Let's go.
All right. So we got something right off the bat here. Bergie says, I still don't know how to solve that problem with the Analyse app. I can't log in unless I use no Wi-Fi, but data. Okay, so let's talk about that. So if you can't log into your Analyse app, now this is the blue app, everybody, the HealAdvisor and you log in. So in other words, the login screen pops up. You put your name and password. There's and you again, right? Can you still see me, Jake?
Yes, I can see you. It was
Looks like
it was a little
a little
sort
glitchy.
of choppy there for a minute, but
Okay.
seems okay right this second.
Okay. Hopefully it stays good to go. Anyway, so back to the login process. You log in by putting your credentials in there, click the boxes. Now, if it doesn't work on Wi-Fi, we need to take a look at the Wi-Fi. What's going on there? Now, I know maybe Wi-Fi is working for your laptop, maybe Wi-Fi is working for other mobile devices. But if you have too many things on the Wi-Fi, just like you're experiencing some glitches, maybe from my side here, from my Wi-Fi in my location, in my home, where I'm at, if there's other people like streaming video, watching a show, listening to music, even other smart devices that are doing things, it narrows the bandwidth of the Wi-Fi available, including certain times of day for your what we call trunk. In other words, your neighborhood or your area. There is an allocation for that trunk within your demographic. And if there's a lot of people on the Wi-Fi at that time, and there's certain times of day in which my system gets bogged down. And so it's not necessarily Healy, it's just the allocated bandwidth necessary for Healy to function properly. And if you're able to do it when you're using your cellular network data, but not properly, we just have to take a look at your Wi-Fi side. And sometimes shutting down your Wi-Fi router and starting it back up may reset some of the functions that were maybe uploaded by your provider, your service provider, or times of day. I mean, take a look at what correlations are common. When is it commonly a problem?
Yeah,
Okay.
one other thing, and Anthony can probably make a comment in the chat about this, but when you're on Wi-Fi, some people don't realize that there's might be some sort of VPN or some sort of restriction on their local network. Maybe they didn't set it up themselves and it's blocking access to the Analyze app. So that could be another reason why when you turn off Wi-Fi and just use that cellular connection, that you're able to log in just fine. So that's another thing to look out for. I know we've had that issue on What's Up When, I mean on Tech Tip Tuesday here, where during the call we were able to assist and have someone turn that off, and then they were able to connect just fine. So that's something else to look out for. It could be.
Yeah. Yeah, there's restrictions, security restrictions. Like Jake said, the VPN is a security restriction. Even unbeknownst to you, it may be
Yeah.
something that an automatic little tick that's clicked when you're setting up your
Mhm.
system. Okay. Um,
Yeah, this is
let's
a great question. A question that a lot of people have, especially when they're first using the Analyze app. But it's how often do you need to capture someone's or record their vibration in the Analyze app, and do you ever need to rescan after the initial profile setup?
uh-oh. That was a little glitchy on my side.
Okay, I think
Um,
yeah.
okay. Yeah, I'm trying to get everybody off the Wi-Fi on my side so I can get the up a little bit. See, this
Yeah.
it's real time. I mean, okay. So what was that question
No,
again?
the question was related to the Analyze app. So it says how often do you need to record your
Mhm.
vibration or one of your clients' vibration? And do you ever need to do that again after the initial profile setup? It's a great question.
Yeah, and we've talked about that before here,
Yeah.
haven't we? Yeah, it is a great question because how do you know? I know some people who are telling me, I scan like 5 times a day, and it's like the problem is that understand when we're doing a scan, this is an objective observer that takes a look at um or a client essentially from a quantum perspective. Now, this is down to essentially the electron flow of things, the information field. It takes a look at that profile in that present moment and then looks at it as to what's missing. So in other words, here's your quantum blueprint, which is not flawed. It's not unhealthy. It's not in dissonance. And then takes a look at your profile content, you in space and time in this present moment, and then looks at what's necessary to bridge the best version of you with the current version of you. Now, how often do you do that? Well, how long does it take your body to shift or change? How long? Because things can change in an is electrical. It can change in an instant. In other words, have you ever had an aha moment, right? You learn something new and you're like, wow, I knew something new. Well, that instantly changes you as a person. Okay, so that happens instantly, but the biology, so in other words, aha moment, like, oh my God, I heard that this new mineral, this new food, or this new thing is amazing. Okay, you got the information and the nervous system's upregulated, but until you start ingesting it for a while, the body's still going to be the old self. Okay, so the body is the slowest part of the equation. And so to analyze yourself so frequently without giving your body, I should say, time to acquiesce to the frequencies it's been given is not going to be very effective. So think about it that way. Think about it that way. How long does it take your body to change? And give yourself time between those scans to implement its findings and get your body into a proper state. Okay. You know what? When you're doing it once a week, that's still kind of often in my book. I work with athletes, I work with performance folks, I work with weight management groups, and it takes a minute. And so when we're doing something, we want to implement those, and we go 30 days, right? 30-day increments. So give yourself enough time. Okay. Of course, and remember, if something shifts drastically in you, I mean, you know, you go through some maybe surgical procedure or some unknown shift or change, then yeah, then you could take another look, scan again to take that content into account. You know, if some huge emotional trauma hits you instantly, a loss, so worthy of rescan. Okay. What else do we got here? I like these kudos. So thank you. Lindley's like, you know, that thank you so much for these calls. I always learn so much. Thank you. I'm glad you're here. It's good to come on these often. Okay.
So Ken, here's something interesting. I think there's a couple ways to kind of discuss this one, but it says, can you provide the status of enlarging the text and numbers on the app? Some are hard to see as they are white on yellow background. So, I mean, I don't know about for you, Ken, but for me, maybe this is a phone specific thing, but you can increase the font size in general on your, there's not a specific font size just for the Healy apps, but if you change your font size, usually when you get your phone, it defaults to the middle. So, but if you increase your font size on the display of your overall smart device all the way to the largest size, it will increase the size of the font within the Healy apps, whether it's the Healy 2 app or the Analyse 2 app. You can adjust it without having to close out the app. You can just go right to your settings, increase the font size, and then go back to the app, and it'll enlarge or it'll get smaller depending on what you do. So beyond that, if you're already at the max font size for your smart device, I don't know that there's anything else that you can do. But yeah, that would be the first place I would go to see if there's anything that can be done as far as enlarging them. It goes right to the settings of your phone, not the Healy app itself.
On our smart device, it's going to shift and change what it looks like on the app. And so things wind up getting squeezed off the page. So keep that in mind.
Yeah.
That sometimes the page being displayed in the app, this is not the app's fault. It's just that because we've chosen certain dimensions of content, it has to open the page bigger. And it doesn't fit on the screen of your smart device, especially some of the smart devices that are tiny, the small ones, right? The smaller screen size, I should say. The bigger the device itself, the more space on the screen or the page. Yeah, I totally understand what you're saying. The screens on these smart devices are getting extremely efficient and very clear, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so a lot of content can be placed there. And so, yeah. I'm sure that, I mean, there's other apps that have the same issue, you know, it's smaller text and things. Put those suggestions though into the suggestion box in the app, and see, you know, how the developers can help.
Yeah, a lot of recent updates have come from suggestions and that send feedback part of our Healy apps.
Yeah, that's great. Okay. So it looks like Anthony's helping out there. Thank you very much for that. So talking about the MagHealy and guidelines for charging, can you partially charge it and that kind of thing? And so of course that's going to, and Anthony's put some content in there, folks. Anytime that we have and partially utilize the battery's bandwidth, I guess we'll call it bandwidth, it's going to start to sacrifice some of that battery's capability eventually. Okay. So I highly recommend that if you do charge partially, that you only do that once or very, very few times per week. And then the rest of the time you fully discharge. In other words, let it go completely dead. And the reason that, and we've talked about this before, I take days off from using my Healy and using these devices so that I can do just that. I can actually let it run all the way by itself until it completely dies, right? And then I can recharge it because I'm not going to use it anyway. And that's how you need to calendar yourself and allow yourself to take those breaks. I mean, well, Healy's in the United States going on its 4th year, but it's celebrated its 5th birthday globally. So what'd you do before Healy? Right, right? Before Healy, what'd you do? And so you got to give yourself a break. It's okay.
Yeah, and I mean, hey, if there's ever a day where you need to charge your MagHealy, you only have 30 minutes or something, okay, occasionally, sure, yeah. But in general, of course, best to always fully discharge it and then fully charge.
Yes. Okay, so there was, I don't know if I'm behind it, but there was a follow-up here asking about how often to run the overall scan. We knew we were talking about how often to run the scan of the programs. So in other words, a set of Healy programs, right? You scan using the Blue app, the Analyze app, and the database you're utilizing is the one called All Healy Programs, right? Okay, so now you have a list of 5 pages. Now I want everybody to understand that the net result when you run a scan on All Healy Programs, you're getting 5 pages worth of recommendations. Okay, so 5 pages that have programs on there relevant to your alignment needs. Awesome. But which ones, right? Some of these pages have up to 12 programs. So which programs specifically, do you need? So what you need to do is you go back to each one of those pages. Now remember, the page itself in the order it was listed is the order of priority. Okay. Page number 1 that came up on the scan is the most important. So you take and scan that page and find out the top 5 programs, because it's always going to pick the top 5. Okay. So whatever that page is, it picks the top 5 programs. If there's only 3 programs on that page, it's going to pick all 3, but it's going to be in a certain order, right? So anyway, so it picks the top 5 programs and it puts them in priority order. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right. So then you go to page 2, do the same thing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Write them all down. Just write them in a line. So page 1, program 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Page 2, program 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and so on all the way through. Now you have essentially up to 25 programs there. Okay. Now, if we go by what the tolerances are, if we're just standard tolerances is 3 programs a day, you do the first 3 on day 1, the second 3 on day 2, the next 3 on day 3, so on and so on. Now, some people have less of a tolerance than that. Is it potentially going to take you? If you have 25 programs, it's going to take you potentially 25 days, which is great for each scan to give your body time to catch up, right? If it's 3 programs per day you're doing, well, at least there's a full week's worth, right? And then perhaps scan again, but at least giving your body that week. Okay, that's what I call the recipe. Okay, what's next? Do you have one there, Jake? Let's see, where am I?
Yeah,
Go ahead.
The one about the coil. But so there was a question here: what programs are optimized for the Healy Coil? So Anthony already answered in the chat, so thank you so much. But essentially, any program when you're looking at the Healy app that have that IMF listed in the top right corner of the program icon itself, that will tell you that one is okay to run with the Healy Coil. So not basically the programs that are not acute you know, the pain programs or some of the other programs in the different program groups, you notice when it has acute listed in the program name itself, those don't have the IMF symbol in that top right corner.
Yeah, let's unpack a minute why. I mean, what's the IMF? I mean, what's it mean, and why is it only certain programs that are optimized for the coil and not others? And what's with it with the acute programs? You know, what's that about? So the Healy coil is designed to isolate, assigned to, and it creates two very distinct oscillation patterns, two magnetic pulses systems coming out of the coil. And so some of these programs only run one frequency, only one, right? Most of the stimulation pages is just one frequency, and most of the acute programs are just one frequency. So you're really not getting a variance in oscillation. It's just going to be one boo, you know, like setting a tone on your music to only one note, right? Not much variety there. So, the IMF stands for individualized microcurrent frequencies, and it's oscillations that optimize the effectiveness of the coil. I'm not saying you can't do it. It's just the optimization of the coil is best with those other programs. Okay. So, all right. Let's see what else we got. We got an AI assistant running on here.
Yeah, looks like it's made a comment or two of, yeah, I think we'll be seeing more and more of that in the future.
Yeah, well, you know, we're looking at somebody to assist us. If I get it. If I can't take notes myself or keep up, it's something that can. But all
Just
right.
remember, these recordings are always available on our Healy World Americas channel on YouTube. So if you ever need to go back and reference anything, review all that. No, actually, well, let me just might as well just share it while we're here together. So if you go to HealyAmericas.com, that takes you straight to this page, or you can find it within YouTube at Healy World Americas. And you'll see here we have our Healy for Beginners and Beyond from this past Thursday, which was a great overview. Healy Simplified, we went over a lot of the key things that you need to know when using your Healy device. So that was a great, thank you so much, Ken, for for being there and providing such great information for everybody. That was awesome. So that recording is available for anybody that missed it. And then let's just take a look at, this is last week's, this is last week's Tech Tip Tuesday. So if you go to this, you'll see here, when you first go to it, and then you have the little description, but you click on more, and you'll see every question that we reviewed, discussed, is all timestamped. So you can easily just go through, review the recording. Oh, I wanted to, watch this segment again, or, whatever the case may be. You just click on the timestamp and it'll take you straight to that segment. So you don't need to scroll through the whole video if you don't want to. It'll go right to that individual chapter. So it's very easy to reference and, go back and kind of get the information that you needed.
Right on. I love it.
Yep.
It's so we're getting to, and it looks like Jenna put HealyAmericas.com in there. So that's a kind of a direct jump right into there. So we're getting some more clarifications about the HealAdvisor app and the scanning question. So when to scan. So there's more clarification. Have the Healy and capture their vibration. Okay. Can you still hear me, Jake?
Yes.
I'm okay. I'm getting a signal on.
Yeah.
My computer's saying your internet's unstable. So
it breaks up occasionally, but for the most part, we can hear everything.
Okay. So the question now is about how often do I have the client hold the Healy and collect their vibrational signature? So remember, now we can also do this remote. So it's not absolutely necessary to hold the Healy when we're doing some of the remote scans. It's just putting the attention on the client when we're doing it from a remote location for them. Okay. But if you're in proximity and you're having a client hold the Healy to capture their vibrational state and then put that into their client record, how often should that be done? So realistically, once you capture that vibrational state, that signature is theirs forever, because it's not necessarily looking at just the physical body. It's looking at them as an auric field, as an energy field, as a biochemical field, as a biological field, as a quantum physics field. So from the quantum field, it's all of that in one. So now you've got this recording of this entity, this person, right? And a person as a person changes over time. But remember, how long does it take to change over time for this person, for this biological entity to change? So it doesn't need to be done. I mean, you do it once and it captures a very, very clear picture one time. 10 years down the road, you could do it again. Or if there's some huge, I'm talking about a huge change. I mean, what would that take? I don't know. Even let me put it this way. This is terrible to think about, but even if one has a loss of a limb, the limb signature still exists within your blueprint, right? Even though it's not physically on your body anymore. So that blueprint's still valid. That signature, that vibrational signature is still valid. So it takes something very, very major or a long period of time to actually need to record that client's vibration again. Okay. So it's not that it's wrong to do it. There's no wrong. It's just not necessary.
Yeah, I'm gonna put a link into the chat, but I just want to go back to our YouTube page for just a minute. So this is a Healy for Beginners and Beyond that we did back on March 2nd, 2023. I think it was actually our most popular Healy for Beginners and Beyond of 2023, but it was entirely on quantum entanglement and remote resonance analysis. And a lot of the things that you just discussed, Ken, we went into detail on that as well, such as specifically when you're doing this remotely, the difference between recording a vibration in person versus remotely, your role as the facilitator in recording the vibration and doing an analysis remotely. What is the remote client's role during the analysis? And then, things like how often should I do a new resonance analysis? Do I ever need to record my vibration again? So I think this will be a great video to review because especially related to the questions that are coming in here. I'll put that link into the chat right now to this video. But if you can also get to it, it's in our Healy for Beginners and Beyond playlist on our YouTube channel.
Yeah, I love that. It was super pop.
Yep.
Makes sense. We're kind of in that field, aren't we?
Yep.
Okay, there was one I was seeing here. Here's one that says, I have the nutrition apps and of course many other apps. When an app shows up in both places from a function standpoint, how do you decide what is the primary? Okay, so now when you're talking about module, so the digital nutrition module, right, is a whole module. It's all its own separate thing. Super useful. And depends on how you're what this analytical idea here is. So from a functional standpoint, how do you decide what is the primary? So the primary what? If you're analyzing someone from a database, the contents of that database is the primary in that moment, right? It's whatever, and you can then switch over to another database and evaluate from that one. But you know, when you get, I like to keep things simple. And if I'm looking at working with myself or with anybody, I kind of stick with one database or one mode of operation for a long time, for a while. Too much jumping around is confusing, and you're trying to analyze too much. And there's a saying that did I freeze? Yeah,
2 or 3
frozen.
seconds.
So
You're
there's
back.
a saying that says analysis creates paralysis. So if you're analyzing too much, you're going to wind up not getting anything done. And so, if you want to clarify more, it's just the person's name is just owner here. If you want to clarify more as to what you're trying to ask there, we'd be happy to open that up a little bit. Let's see. What else you got there? Do you got something, Jake?
There was a question. Any chance they will add just the Meridian programs? Oh, sorry, someone just typed something and I lost where I was in the chat. Any chance they will add just the Meridian programs to the MagHealy without the fancy program? So, are you referring to? Well, I guess I'm a little confused because the MagHealy programs, the Meridian programs are available in the MagHealy. You can run them just on their own. But if you're referring to without the module and the Analyze app, yeah, that's kind of the whole the biggest benefit to that is that you can do an analysis with the MagHealy with the two resonance sensors there and get a super in-depth analysis, which then helps you determine which of those Meridian programs to run. So I don't think we would ever separate the two out because they're meant to be used together. So if you're waiting for that to happen, as far as if you wanted to purchase it or not, it probably won't happen based off how they're designed to be used together.
Yeah. Okay, so there's another one from the person named owner. Recently, my unit suddenly stopped. I restart it, and it may repeat, or it may be okay for the rest of the program. So I would like to know a little bit more, because so when somebody says my unit suddenly stopped, now is that the perception from what the app is saying? In other words, the app just kind of quit functioning or went away or shut off because the smart device, I don't know, maybe you got a phone call or whatever, the app went away. Or did the green light actually go off on the Healy, or the blue light stopped flashing? These are things that we need to know because that gives a clearer understanding of the status of the connection between the Healy hardware and the app, and the Healy hardware and its program function. Okay. So even though the app itself no longer shows the progress of the program for whatever reason, doesn't matter. Your battery went dead on your smart device, or you got another phone call, whatever. The Healy, the blue light may stop flashing, meaning that the Bluetooth signal or connection between the hardware and your smart device has been severed. It stopped, but the green light will still be flashing, meaning that the program is still running on the Healy. Because when you send a microcurrent, aka Healy 2 program, right, from the Healy 2 app to the Healy hardware, the entire program is downloaded to the memory. The Healy hardware has a memory in it. So the entire program is downloaded to the Healy hardware, and then it starts running all by itself, right? The app on your smart device essentially is just a monitoring system. Like the television, and say you're watching a DVD or a movie from a disc. Maybe you guys are VHS. Remember the old tape cartridges? Maybe somebody still,
Yeah,
I don't know.
I remember those. Yeah.
I got some still probably. But maybe
Yeah.
you're watching a DVD, right? Or you're watching it from Netflix, right? The TV screen that you're seeing is just the monitoring device. It doesn't hold any of the content. The content's coming from a streaming device, aka your Wi-Fi device, your Netflix smart device. Now TVs have a smart device built into them, but the screen itself is still just a monitoring device. So just like the app is just a monitoring system, Healy is still running the program in its entirety from its hardware all by itself. And if that does shut down, something goes wrong, okay, fine. Hard close the app. I highly recommend you hard close all the apps, because if there was an interruption, it could have been because too many things are running at once. Make sense? If you don't know how to hard close the app, I guarantee you too many things are running at once on your smart device. So learn how to hard close apps on your smart device. All right, hard close the app, go back and reopen the Healy 2 app, and it's going to pop up with a screen. You know, it's going to have you check OK, but it's going to come back up to the page of the program that was last put onto your Healy, and you want to click continue. And because then the continue is going to show you, it's going to take you right back to the program, and it's going to be right back in the same time, the elapsed time of the program. Okay. So hopefully that clarifies that. I don't know. Okay. Here's one about clarifying the advantages between the coil versus microcurrent. And Anthony's put a YouTube video in there for you to watch. Highly recommend it. By the way, folks, if you want to save this chat and all the links and everything, down there in your little chat location box, there's 3 little dots. Tap on those or click on those. If you're on your if you're on your computer or your laptop, this won't work if you're on your smart device. Tap on those 3 little dots. It'll come up with save chat. Click on save chat. At the end of this call, there'll be a pop-up that allows you to save this chat, and you'll have all these links. Okay. I'm not sure which video Anthony put in there, but
That's the one from the beginning of last year, where we did discuss that. But then also last week, we also discussed that same topic as far as, you know, the difference between running microcurrent versus coil versus vibrating programs in the Analyse app. So there's multiple places that we discussed that, either on Tech Tip Tuesday or on Healy for Beginners and Beyond as well. But yeah, that the link that Anthony posted is a good one. So.
Yeah, take a look at last week's Tech Tip Tuesday. All right, take a look at that one because it'll be in there. That's the one on the 23rd. We did talk about that kind of in depth. So yeah. Okay. So Jenna says, could you speak on HealAdvisor app? When you type in a disease state, it comes up with different program packs. I love this question. It's true. It's true. It's got all these, well, it's got these names, right? These names. And you're like, okay, cool. Where's the one that says do this for that? It doesn't work like that, right? So let's say you put in freckles. I don't know. I'm not going to pick some kind of disease, but let's just say we put in the word freckles and it comes up with these groups of programs. Now, here's what I want you to really, really grab hold of. The very first one that it's suggesting is the highest priority. It doesn't matter what the rest of them are. And so then you click on that group, and the very first program in that group is the highest priority. It's always going to be in order of priority, which I love that because we don't have to guess, well, which one's more important than the other one, right? It's always going to be in the proper order of priority. So the first grouping, and there may be 5 groups, and within this group, there could be 8 programs, right? Or whatever. Start at the top. Don't get confused by saying, I got to do them all. No, you don't. You don't. Just start with the top. And remember, like I said, when you do this analysis on all Healy programs, it nets you 5 pages. And then you go through each page, it nets you 5 programs per page. That's 25 programs. That's a lot of healing going on, folks. So allow that. Just pick the top 5 and run them for a while. I mean, I'm talking, how long do you think your body takes to change? Well, I'm going to give you a little hint. 800,000 cells per second, and you have 86,400 seconds in a day, right? That's several million cells in one 24-hour period, but you're 100 trillion cells. It would take over 1,400 days for every cell to turn over at that rate. Do the math. How many years is 1,400 days? So my point is, the body changes well, but it takes time.
Yeah, and Ken, also, we did a brief tutorial on HealAdvisor Seach last week on Healy for Beginners and Beyond. So as far as being able to see what that looks like, let me just go, oh, hold on a second here. I was gonna go back to where I was. Okay, so share. Okay, so this back to Academy. So first of all, and this video here, Healy and MagHealy First Steps, is a very comprehensive video of everything from downloading the app to connecting to it to determining which programs to run. And this one actually does go through selecting those programs. It tells you what to do when you're running that first analysis in the Analyse app, but then also it shows walking through that process in the HealAdvisor Seach module in the HealAdvisor app, as far as typing it in. And the first program set of programs that comes up is the one that's most relevant for whatever topic that you put in. And then on Healy for Beginners and Beyond, you'll see here, this is in this segment, how to determine which Healy programs to run for you. If you click on that, it takes you right to this segment. And you see here, we kind of discussed typing in this thing here, and I'll just
video. It's kind of like, okay, well, which one of these should I pick? It pulls up several.
So I typed in muscle.
Start with the first one. That's the one that's going to be most relevant to whatever search topic that you're typing in. So
we
can click on here, mobility 22.
All right, what was that?
We could hear the audio from the recording playing right there, and you talking at the same time.
Okay. Well, anyway, if you type in, so I clicked on the first program group, first set of whatever recommendations that came up there. It was mobility 22 when I typed in muscle soreness, and you'll see here, I went through the whole list here, but regeneration in the fitness program, mobility, and so it kind of makes sense if you're suffering from that type of issue. So it, just go with the first one, and then if for some reason, you can always, there's a whole set of other programs to go for too, but it's really just the best to go with that first program group recommendation that comes up there.
Keep that up there for a second, Jake. I want to show you guys something. It says mobility 22. If you'll take a look at the numbers, all IMF programs are 17, 0 in the animal category, 1 in the bioenergetic vitalization, and then 4 in digital nutrition. That's 22.
Yep.
So and so it's going to show you, if you just take the category of Healy IMF programs, there's 12 just within the Healy IMF programs.
Yeah.
So but it makes sense if you look down through that list. You're going to see you'll see that makes sense that
I mean, go back and you can review that recording there as well, and then also reference that video from Healy Academy that I showed too.
Okay, so here's a request. Will you put the date of that Healy for Beginners and Beyond for the HealAdvisor that you'd showed? Yeah, the Healy for Beginners and Beyond that we did on the remote and the quantum entanglement.
I think someone copied it, or I put it. It was March 2nd, 2023. The quantum entanglement.
Is it in there? Let's see. The link from January 23rd. That's last week's Tech Tip Tuesday.
Yeah, it's really just go to HealyAmericas.com. It goes straight to our YouTube channel. It's the very first video listed on that page.
Yeah, and when you go onto that page, there's channels, right? Or actually, I'm sorry, playlists. It's called playlists. You can click on playlists and you'll see all the Tech Tip Tuesdays in one category, all the Healy for Beginners and Beyond in one category, all the What's Up Wednesdays. So basically all of our weekly calls or monthly calls that we do, you know, are in a playlist. So it's pretty easy to find them. Yeah, just jump in there. We have to go to Healy school, folks, every now and then. Okay. Okay, here's the one, back to referring to the disconnection thing. The person named owner says, in referencing the disconnect, the green light goes off. Okay. All right, if the green light goes off, a couple things are either happening. Either you've progressed through the program, and remember that when you're running one of these programs, at a certain point, you start seeing a progress within the body's resonance for each frequency. Each frequency it's applying to you, you get a progress report. A little progress, and it's a scale from negative 99% to positive 99%. And when you get all the way up to positive 99%, that means your body's full resonance with that one frequency, right? And it kicks it out of the routine. And then the next. And so if you're get through a program and it kicks all those frequencies out of the routine because your body's fully resonant before the end of the timer, then it shuts off. It's done. Healy won't give you what you don't need, right? That's just the way it works. So if the program was, say, 57 minutes and your body becomes fully resonant with all the frequencies it chose for you for the modality of that program, within 45 minutes, it shuts off. It's done. That's why you see under the contents of that program, it says max time 57 minutes or max time. It doesn't say the time is X. No, the max time it'll run is this. It could be a minimum of whatever your body says. Okay. So that's one reason the green light could go off. That's a, you know, really valid one. Think of some others and see if that's of course, if you are, by the way, not connected to the app and the blue light is not flashing, but the green light is, and you press the power button momentarily, accidentally or whatever, it will shut the program off. It will shut Healy off. It's just like an off switch, right? Turns it off. So that's another way that green light could go off. Okay. Linda's got one here. It says, and I think maybe Anthony is.
Yeah, Anthony, this is related to back in November when we first launched the Meridians module. Everybody with a MagHealy was given sort of a free trial to the Meridian module. And then, yeah, as part of the next update, you know, that your access to that was basically after the free trial was ended, you know, it expired there. So if you did want to continue to use it, you know, you can of course purchase it from the shop, but that's not an error or anything there. That's the way it was intended to work. You're muted there, Ken.
Yeah, I'm just trying to clear everybody off the Wi-Fi. See
if okay.
My signal is still a little bit, yeah, choppy here.
Okay.
So I'm going to make sure everything is shut off. Try to get maximum bandwidth, folks.
Yeah. Ken, so this is interesting question. So, and I think there's a couple ways to discuss this, but it's related to, you know, we have hundreds of programs that you can run. And then, yeah, some of them do have either similar names, whether, you know, it's something, you know, there was talk about here in the chat about, you know, whether it's circulation or liver or, you know, some sort of those names that are found in multiple programs themselves within different program groups. And the question was, well, the assumption is that yeah, they're different. It's not an exact copy, but it's back to why would there be multiple programs talking about the same thing? So it's, yes, these aren't exact copies. It's not, we don't create new program groups and just copy one from the other and give it a slightly different name. That's not what's happening there. Ken, I don't know, they all do contain different frequencies, and it's a different way to support whatever issue or topic that you're looking for support on. And for me, it's kind of like you can do 7 different chest exercises. They're different exercises, but they all sort of support or work the body in a different way, at a different angle, different approach, that kind of thing. So
if you look at like circulation is the topic here. So if you look at circulation from a fitness page perspective, then we want to make sure that we are bringing nutrients into the cell structures and waste or toxins out, right? We want to have that circulation increase. We also want to be able to increase circulation for our oxygen and carbon dioxide transfer. Okay, so that's within the fitness side. Now, if we look at it from the bioenergetic field, and we're looking at circulation from the bioenergetic field, so now we're looking at as a full organism, the body, and trying to allow other emotional content to also be circulated through or released, right? So it's not just if we're looking at from the physical side, fitness side, we'd be talking about muscles and support and strength and activity. But when we go to the bioenergetic fields, we're looking at more than just that. Also within the electrical fields, the emotional fields, the chemical fields. Okay. So same name, but different application. All right. Yeah, and again, when you're looking at the application purpose, when it comes to circulation, there's a grouping of frequencies that apply to circulation, and another grouping of frequencies that apply to circulation around excretion systems of our body, right? So they put them in for different reasons. Okay.
Back to the quick note on the HealAdvisor Seach. There was a question about, it said, 12 IMF programs and then 4 from bioenergetic vitalization, that kind of thing. So the question was, should we just check all of the boxes? So if you don't know specifically, if you're not looking for something specific to one of the app modules, sure, you can click all Healy IMF programs, but you can also do a search. Say you have the animal module and you want to look just within the animal module programs. Maybe you're doing some work with your pet. You can just select that. So in general, most cases, I think usually you would pick all Healy IMF programs, but if you want to narrow it down to bioenergetic vitalization, that kind of thing, you can just do a little bit more of a narrow search.
So there's a little dialogue in the background going on about the Tech Tip Tuesdays, about all the recordings on the Tech Tip Tuesdays and the Healy Americas page. 2 years worth. I mean, Jake and I have been here. So Tech Tip Tuesday was.
Yeah, why don't you tell us the history? Because you've been doing this before even I joined Tech Tip Tuesday.
Yeah, so when we first started, when Healy first started in the United States, actually the product wasn't even available in the United States, but it exploded like wildfire in the United States, and a group of us leaders were trying to support the field, right? And we didn't have as many resources, folks. People that are in Healy today, you've got tremendous, amazing resources. Our customer service department is amazing, and the live things that they've put together just within that portal, and then all the Healy Academy stuff. Oh my gosh. And then of course, this call here being supported by Jake from corporate, and we have the live technician in the back. You guys, this is way more than we ever had before. And so when I first started, it was like It was literally like the covered wagon days, man. We were like we had this advanced technology above most intellectual understandings in the world. And we were trying to make it digestible to the layman, to everyone. And so a couple of leaders, we got together and we said, hey, let's see what we can do. And another member, he's like, hey, why don't we do some live chats? Let's create a thing. And we called it Tech Tip Tuesday because it was on a Tuesday. That was the day we had available. It just made sense. And this was like going on 4 years ago that we started this. They were not all recorded. We tried, but we were also we were using our resources. We didn't have corporate to, by the way, Jake's team takes these calls, dissects them, integrates them into those hyperlinks and does all that work for you guys and then puts them on the page. So that maintenance is a lot of work. Believe me, we were doing it a bit. But anyway, so that's not on that page. You can always go to YouTube and search Tech Tip Tuesday and find some of the old archives. But what's relevant is what's here in the YouTube page today. Very helpful, very useful, and everything's there you need. Okay.
Yeah, definitely a team effort. Each week we kind of have a rotating member of our great tech support team assisting here in the chat. And then after the meeting's over, the recording goes to Caroline on our customer care team, who does an amazing job of hyperlinking and indexing everything and getting it up there, very quickly. I always say within 48 hours, but it's usually much quicker, much quicker than that. But yeah, it was, I think, summer of 2021 that I started joining these on a regular basis along with a member of our tech support team. But yeah, the recordings date back about 2 years.
Yeah, it's wonderful. I'm so grateful for you guys and what we've been able to do, and I'm happy and honored to be able to participate and share with you guys. So thanks for being here. So by the way, if this is valuable to you, please share it with your friends and team, because if you learn something every week, what do you think your team would learn simultaneously? How much time do you want to spend telling them the same thing that they could gain themselves as well, right here live?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Let's see. We just got last question, I think. Jake, you got something?
I do not. Let me
Okay.
look at some of those comments. Thank you for the great comments and feedback. Appreciate that.
Awesome. Here's one that says, what's the difference between the Meridian programs on MagHealy versus Meridian programs on regular Healy? So think about this. So when you're running Meridian Pro, the Healy is the only part of this entire Healy world that can apply microcurrent. This is different. Microcurrent is quite different, right? It has a huge influence on the biology of your body. Increase of ATP production by up to 500%. Now, think about that. That's just the microcurrent. Now, the microcurrent is going through and speaking to very specific systems, organs, and cells, aka the meridian. You're asking about the meridians. So when we're energizing the meridians of whatever system in your body that you've chosen, it's physically impacting your body, right? Okay. Now, when you use the MagHealy, it's a magnetic signal that goes out and more passively influences your body, but it's a very strong signal. Okay. So the body is a walking, talking antenna. And when a magnetic signal impacts the body interprets the contact, just like any antenna. The antenna in your car, right? It's this metallic system that's receiving radio waves or electromagnetic force. And the antenna takes that information and sends it down into your stereo system or your radio system and decodes it and then plays it out your speakers. So our body does the same thing as an antenna. Radio systems, waves, electromagnetic force, MagHealy, impacts our body, and our body then deciphers and decodes the content, and then it's dispersed amongst the systems. All right. So a different modality. It's a different modality. And so the meridians within the MagHealy, it's applied in a different modality, and they're slightly different programs or frequencies. I should say, same name, but again, different frequencies within the MagHealy versus the Healy. So, you know, are you getting benefit from either? Absolutely. You're getting benefit from either and both. I say run them both, right? They both accent.
Yeah, and just to close here, perfect opportunity to share my screen one more time. But so in Healy Academy, there is a brand new video so if you go to Academy, go to Products, HealAdvisor, Analyze app, scroll all the way down. This Meridian analysis training is very comprehensive, super informative. It's 17 minutes long. So this is a very in-depth training. This was just added, I think today, to Academy. So anyone wants more information on what exactly is the Meridian module and how it works with the MagHealy and how that analysis works, check out Academy, and check out this video. It's a really great one.
Awesome. And so, like I said before, the Academy just keeps growing and growing, and it is such I'm grateful for that, because we didn't have that when we started. So not the same Academy we have today. Today is a whole new one. So I just want to thank you guys for being here. We are at the end of our time, and thank you, Jake. Thank you, Anthony. Thank you, audience. So if you did froze. Okay, sorry about that. I froze again. Anyway, thanks for being here, you guys. Big loves. See you next week. If I didn't get your question answered, if we didn't get you, come back and see us again. All right, guys.
Thank you.
Bye, everybody. Thanks for being here.